All right, Sky Squad, we are back in the building. Taria is in the building from the What Else Is Going On podcast. Taria, how you doing?
Doing good. First of all, thank you for having me. It is an honor. Shout out how good our host looks. Y'all know DJ Richie being out in these traveling streets, looking all good and things, getting his travel on. But as always, I'm honored to be here. Hi, Sky Squad.
And we are happy to have you. Y'all, if you're not following the What Else Is Going On podcast, I was telling her this earlier. Her show is like Murder, She Wrote back in the day. Everybody comes through there, okay? All the people come through there. All the people used to come through on Murder, She Wrote. If you ever go back and watch that show, you will know what I'm talking about. All the stars, they came through there. They come through the What Else Is Going On podcast. So you best to be checking it out. And Taria is also visually, you can see all of this on YouTube. You can catch it. Where else can you catch it? You started someplace else before YouTube, actually, right?
Podcast. Yep. So the podcast, What Else Is Going On? And then on YouTube, search for the acronym WEIGO, We Go Podcasts. Yes.
There you go. For those of you guys who are new here or have been living under a rock. Taria, what has been going on in your world lately? I feel like sometimes I just dive right in, but I kind of want to know, let people know what's going on with you. What's happening?
Living life, I want to say life has been lifing, but I think life's for everybody. Just still fighting the good fight of faith that I'm going to end up exactly not just where I need to be, but where I want to be career-wise. Even if I don't see, even if it's not what I perceive as movement, I do believe that something is going on. So I'm just going to keep the faith. I actually got a quick message today. It was so funny. This is random, but I watched Love Island, and a girl went on Love Island last year. And I was scrolling TikTok and her video came up. So at first I was like, I ain't really get into her like that on the show, but someone was like, watch it. So she talked about how she got picked for Love Island. She said, let me take you on my journey. Basically, in entertainment, everything is hurry up and wait. Hurry up, hurry up. But now we got to wait. So she said she decided to randomly apply, and she DM'd the casting director, and they said, okay, great. She applied. She gets a text message from a producer. They want to set up a call. They set up a call. It was great. Weeks go by. They then say, hey, we want to set up a FaceTime. It's going to be long, hour and a half FaceTime, where they met with a therapist. They do all these things. It was a long thing, right? So you assume, okay, great, it's going to move. In between that time, she didn't hear anything. Her dream was to move to West Palm Beach, Florida. She moves to West Palm Beach, Florida. She gets a job. Didn't hear anything. Randomly gets a phone call. Hey, are you still interested in coming on? We would like to schedule a call with you with the executive producer. Oh, yes, would love to do that. She does that. Weeks go by again. She says she gets a call and is like, so we want you. This was 6 p.m. on a random Tuesday. Okay, you're still interested? You need to be ready to fly out to Fiji tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Here's where the lesson came in for me. She said I didn't have suitcases. I had just taken my hair extensions out. And we know for context, Love Island is about the look, all of that, right? She said I had just took out my extensions. My nails weren't done. I wasn't spray tan. I don't even own suitcases. I didn't have bathing suits. So I hadn't notified my family. For me, as someone who talks about what she wants, but knowing in this waiting season, I could be doing more to prepare for when it comes. The message to me was, be ready, because your suddenly could be tomorrow. If your suddenly is tomorrow, are you ready? Taria, if you get the phone call that you know that you want, are you ready? So last year when I started thinking that, I got a travel size bag, because I said, Lord, I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. And everything that I use to get ready regularly, I bought it in many sizes and I keep it packed. And I say, Lord, I'm going to be ready if I get this call. But as far as my podcast and YouTube, am I ready if I get that call and they say, hey, we want you here tomorrow? Even down to, I know I need new socks. I know I need this. Do I have all of that? So when I get the call, okay, I can pack. I ain't even got to rush because I'm ready. So be ye ready was my message from that. 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, you're flying out to Fiji tomorrow for weeks. Are you ready?
Do you know what's funny? I'm going to tell you This is crazy. But everything that you're saying is true. I remember I'd gotten a call to do this was in 2000, I think 16. I was in LA and I I think I was still like in the process of like really kind of furnishing my apartment. And I remember I got this call. I don't know if I applied or something happened. So the people at Bravo, the production company, end up
Mhm,
calling and they're like, "Hey, we got your name for this particular show." It was a
mhm.
show I never heard of before. So I was like, "Okay." And they were like, "Okay, so this is gonna be the casting process. So go through the casting process." And I'm thinking to myself, it's Bravo. At that time, I'm a huge Bravo fan because
Yes.
all they had, I mean, we had Housewives and stuff like that back then, but it was like more heavy on like My Life is on the D list back in that day,
Yes.
Tabitha
Yes.
take over, those types of things, right? So, I remember thinking, "Well, if I do this show, I could be on Watch What Happens Live." Like, I could that was literally all I wanted to do, okay? That was it. I just wanted to be on Watch What Happens Live. So, I remember doing the casting, and they're like, "Can you send us photos of your apartment?" Let me tell you what I did. So, a friend of mine, he had, like, all this designer stuff. I was like, "I'm gonna take this designer stuff, I'm gonna put it into my place." He knew what I was doing. I can tell the story now because 'cause I've already done it.
Yes.
I strategically placed it and got the place and looking nice and good. Take my photos, return the stuff. Then, so they called me for the casting call. So, I could tell that the lady liked me. You sometimes get a feeling for like, okay, because
Yes.
she's smiling and stuff like that, but she's giving me visual, like verbal cues, like in between, telling me
Mhm.
need more excitement. You got to be excited right here. So I'm like amping it up. 2 hours later, I'm exhausted. Okay, it's done with that. They're like, thank you. Okay, we'll get back with you. That was in April of 2016. May, June, July, August, September,
Oh my
nothing.
gosh.
Do you know it was like maybe the 8th or the 10th of October? I get a call. No, I get a text message. Hey, are you still interested in this? Like, well, I mean, I ain't heard nothing from y'all in a long time. Like, I'm treating it like we was dating, right?
Right. You ghosted me.
Exactly. So they were like, "Okay, well, we're gonna send you over a contract if you're interested in it." And I had like literally 3 days to figure out this contract. This giant book, okay? And, I send it over to my cousin, and let her look at it, and she's like, I don't like this." I mean, she was like, "I don't like none of this." But essentially, she's like, "But if you wanna do it, go ahead." I was like, "Alright," and they sent me over like the pay or whatever. I was like, I don't like that either." So I was like, "If y'all can do this, then I'll
Then
do it."
okay.
Okay? I don't care about nothing else, y'all, but y'all give me this amount, do it. This little 1,500 right here, that's not gonna cover it for what I'm for that's not gonna cover my rent, okay? So, anyway, that's how I be knowing, like, what these people get paid per episode because 'cause I'm like, I done seen it before,
Yeah.
okay?
Yes.
Seen Anyway, that all goes to say this, within about 2 weeks, I was filming the show.
Mm.
So, everything that you said is absolutely true. It is 100% correct. And I think something that you've already done is like you've already just said, "You know what? I'm ready now for whatever it is." That's the type of attitude you have to have. And I will tell you, Taria, I feel like you never know who is watching you. It hasn't that one thing that you're looking for hasn't happened yet. But it's gonna be the other thing that you never expected
Mm.
comes from somebody having watched what you've been doing for a long time. I guarantee you.
I want to do a Shamea confessional where she said, "I feel the spirit speaking in tongues." That's how I feel right now. I receive it. I truly do. That was a word of encouragement that I needed. I received that. And I have to remember that where you think it may come from, it may totally come from somewhere else. So my
But
job is not to figure out where it's coming from.
it's not the how, it's just that you get ready for whatever it is. That's my thought. But since you did talk
Love
about
that.
Sharia,
Feel the spirit in this place called Atlanta. I don't know what spirit I feel.
that's what I'm curious about. What is the spirit that you are feeling with regards to Atlanta overall in this particular season. Because let me just go over what we know, okay? Just the
Okay.
facts, and then we'll kind of touch on individual people and things and situations. But we know recently that K.Michelle and Shamea have unfollowed each other. K.Michelle said something to the effect that a friend to everyone is a friend to no one. I want to dissect that too. We know that the reunion has filmed, okay? I wanna know what your thoughts are about Atlanta as a whole right now.
I in the beginning of the season, I decided I was taking it on and I was gonna enjoy it for what it was. I was going to not be I mean, I could always have warm feelings for the old, but I'm gonna enjoy what I'm given. If they make me laugh, I'm gonna laugh. If they make me cry, I'm gonna cry. If they make me get upset, I'm gonna get upset, as long as I'm feeling something when I'm watching it. And at the end of the day, for me, I love watching Black women on TV, hairstyles, outfits, makeup. I like seeing it all, right? So and the different variations, and I love the fact that they eat on camera. I know I keep saying that, but they will eat food on camera. They are real people, right? So, I've been enjoying Atlanta. I have been looking forward to it, and I've decided to if one of the ones that's not my favorite makes me laugh, again, I enjoyed them in that moment. I'm gonna take it moment by moment, episode by episode, and I've been enjoying this show, and I am ready for Sunday to come.
I know, I feel like this break has been extra long, and I feel like
Yes.
y'all coulda took BET weekend off and not 4th of July weekend
Come
so that,
on.
we ain't gotta split our time.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
What's going on with this
What's
scheduling over there? Like, what's happening?
Mhm.
So, that's interesting. I'm enjoying it too. I mean, most of the time I enjoy most of the shows that I recap because I'm watching it because I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not hate watching it. I've hate watched a couple of seasons of a couple of shows. I think I hate watched Married to Medicine last season. The past 2 seasons I kinda hate watched. I can't I listen, I gotta be real.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm enjoying this. I liked last season with the new girls. I am intrigued this season by the new girls, although the new girls give me different energy than I thought they would give.
Same. Um, I feel like I am watching and one woman in particular, which we'll get into, that has wanted a thing for years, and they apparently wanted her for years, but it just didn't work out. And we have seen what Housewives has become, and I've heard some of the women say it's like an exclusive sorority, and I believe that she has it now, and she wants to play to the viewers, and I feel like I'm watching a woman trying to create moments and things because they know how the audience feels about a certain person. So I'm gonna play to the audience instead of always being authentically who I really am, and I'm a little bit disappointed in Miss Oakley. I'm a little disappointed.
I was not expecting you to say her, but I'm intrigued. Tell me more. Tell me more.
So and I'm not saying this person I don't believe I'm gonna say this, I don't believe that Shamea lies, but I believe that Shamea always places herself in the position of victim. And I believe that sometimes she can be a villain as well. And all the women can be. Let me make that very clear, right? All can be the villain as well. But on her interview with Carlos King, what really caught my ear when she talked about Angela was she said, "I thought me and Angela were cool. They hung out during the off season." Angela and her kids met Shamea and her daughters at the pool. They were having a good time. And then the audience loved Shamea. Remember last season for what, the first couple of weeks? And then boom, there was a switch. And she says she believes that as Angela started watching last season, even though because they had made up, they had did all that, whatever, and saw the audience, she thought that Shamea was going to be a fan favorite. So yeah, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna have a good time. She said, and as soon as the audience switched up on her, so did Angela. and she became like Angela's target. And she said that's what she couldn't understand. And me watching Angela, I get some of the stuff she's saying, but this last episode to me was so cringy. Angela, there was an air of desperateness and anger to me with Angela that I couldn't quite figure out where it was coming from, especially when you have this wife. First of all, her throwing out, "You didn't sleep with Charles," and then trying to play a semantics game. No, see, Shamea, you're lying because you said, "I said the wife said it," but I was the one that said it. We wouldn't be here if you hadn't said it. You posed the question, you brought up money, him giving her money, and then right behind it, you posed that question, which anybody's human mind is gonna go to, "Oh, he paid her for sex," or, "Oh, he's paying her for lifestyle," or, "It wasn't a charity." That's not what I was thinking when I heard it. So you purposely lined everything up to come out that way. I don't think she thought Shamea was gonna, I'll say, fight back, but, like, I didn't like her having Pinky read the text. Girl, you read the text. When Angela came and knocked on your door and said, "Say it to my face," you shoulda opened that door and been like, "Yeah, I'm saying it to your face because you a liar." Instead of sitting in the room, "This just hurts me. Why does it hurt so bad?" Nah, confront her, because this is what we do over here, shut her down. So, sometimes Shamea will come from, I get it, she's probably tired. She's probably tired of being, Imma say, ganged up on. I don't really mean that word, but Imma address that as well because I also don't kinda necessarily feel sorry for her, and I'll tell you why. But with Angela, I just feel like she was really trying for something, and then when that didn't work, she switched it over to her daughter. Now, however, Imma say, me as a mom, I felt like, was it such a big deal, the thing to say? No. Could Richie, who I have a relationship with that is not contentious, meet my kids and say to me, "You nicer than your mama?" Yes, it's funny. I feel like he has my best interests at heart. He may have been just joking, or my kids may be nicer than me. But someone that I have contention with saying that, also, Shamea admitted in the car, "I said it to be sarcastic." So why are you being sarcastic to her child? Again, I don't think that was such a big deal, but I think about my oldest daughter. If someone said that to her that she knew I was in contention with, the reaction probably wouldn't have been just a smile. And I am gonna go a little further. This was years and years and years ago. Me and my daughter were into it. You know how moms and daughters get into it. And somebody made the comment like, "Oh, we know how your mom is. She always got an attitude." They just said it as a throwaway comment. But because we were kinda, like, going back and forth, to her, it's like, "Yeah, I'm right, because my mom always got an attitude." So Shamea saying that, we know Angela is into it with Amari. So Amari could also be like, "See, even your friends know that you nasty. Even your friends know that you're not nice. Now you're gonna have to thank them for getting choked out." See, so there were a couple of different ways that I looked at that. Like, at the end of the day, did I think it was such a big deal? I probably wouldn't have got upset, but I believe so, but I can also see why it bothered Angela, why Shamea thought it was just a throwaway comment, but also Angela, like, scrapping, I gotta bring this up," because all the ladies have kids, so of course they're gonna say, "Oh my gosh, she said something to your child?" And for Phaedra to say kids didn't sign up for it, Amari has a confessional, Amari signed up for it. So so that's what I think with Angela. I just I feel like she's grasping. I would rather her just say, "Shamea, I don't like you. I don't like you."
I would rather her say that too, although it's quite clear. I I think that, I don't think that, and I've had some time to process this. Shamea in that room with Pinky and Kelly. What I wonder now is, because I feel like Shamea has kind of been screaming, "These things have been happening to me, they're happening to me." But in the scene now, as I reflect back on it, I think what she also feels is a little gaslit, because I feel gaslit. I feel gaslit
Okay.
by Cynthia specifically, who
Ooh.
seems to, for some reason, think that Shamea has so much power within this group that she can dictate the weather. The only person that has that kind of power in this group is Porsha, period. And that's not a bad thing. To the person that says, "Oh my God, Portia's my favorite person," it's not a bad thing. A lot of this, you can actually remove Portia's name. You could remove her. You could just
Mhm.
place her name there. I feel like sometimes Angela and Drew are fighting in the name of Porsha. I feel like sometimes Cynthia is a and I hate to call them the Go Nakeds, but I feel like the Go Nakeds are all falling under Porsha and sort of fighting on her behalf, even if she's not saying to do so. I don't even know that Porsha I think Portia's probably like, well, Shamea, girl, you on your
Yes.
own right now. I don't know what to
Mhm.
tell you. Haha. I think she could be just like that and just chilling and doing her own thing. But the stuff that like Cynthia's doing, like, it doesn't make sense to me. That's why I feel like maybe Shamea feels a little gaslit in this moment.
Mhm.
Dang, I can't do nothing. I need y'all to see it. I need other people to see it. Whereas, really, as fans of the show, we need for Shamea, I don't need you to need everybody to see it. Okay.
Yes.
Nene never needed it. I've heard, people bring this up before, but Kenya's never needed it. I feel like and Porsha actually has never needed it.
Mhm.
There have been
Yeah.
moments where all 3 of those ladies have had to stand on their own against
Yeah.
everybody, and I think
Mhm.
is either gonna be really good training for Shamea to learn how to be that type of housewife,
Yeah.
or it's going to say, "This isn't for you." Okay? And you probably need
Yeah.
to either, A, rise to the occasion or move along, because at the end of the day, I don't think it's gonna stop anytime
Right,
soon.
no, soon, no.
So there's that. But then I think there's an analogy that I used earlier, like a couple of weeks ago. I talked about like remember in high school. I don't know if you ever experienced this. I feel like in high school or like maybe junior high school, like there were I would always see like there would be like certain girls that I always would see like getting jumped. Okay. And the certain girls always doing the jumping. And not that the guys didn't fight. I thought the guys fought elsewhere. Okay.
Mhm.
Felt like the guys back in high school, they fought in the streets, after the game,
Yes.
at the mall. But the
Mhm.
girls always do it at the school. Okay.
I was a victim and a victor, so I experienced both scenarios in high school, yeah.
Okay. See, so there we are. So I feel like Shamea's the girl that's getting jumped. Okay. Now I don't I I don't not to say that the cast is always ganging up on her. But I felt if you go back and watch Angela hooting and hollering outside of Shamea's door, stomping down the hall, saying, "Come outside," that she was in the crew of girls waiting to jump the other little girl for whatever reason they never liked her. And I'm always be like, "Girl, they don't like you. Stop trying to hang out with them. They're not." To me, is that girl, okay? And Angela to me just looked like one of those girls in high school stomping around outside saying, "Come outside the classroom. I'm gonna get you." That's what she reminded me of in that moment.
What you're saying is Angela was the girl with the fan ponytail that stuck up in the back. I'm sorry. That was sprayed with the Isoplus oil sheen and the spritz to pump it up. Okay.
He said,
That's what you're saying.
I was just reminded me of yeah. Okay, yeah. But you know what? And it's disappointing to me because to your point, like you said earlier, like I think we all had high hopes for her.
Yeah,
And I think that because I don't understand what her gripe is with Shamia overall, it seems nonsensical.
yeah,
Um, Person that you are really, I think, the most angry at should have been Portia for saying what she said.
yeah.
If you could get over that, that's cool. Then you should also, there's nothing that Shamia could have done that should really warrant this level of reaction from you at this point. I just don't see it. I
Yeah,
just don't.
because I feel like if it really hurt you, like Shamea saying, "Oh, I didn't know Charles was married. I didn't know any of that." That should have been deaded. Like, y'all could have had a sit down, a conversation. "Shamea, I'm pissed off at you. We not even yes, I know Portia said it, but this is why I'm still upset with you for saying it." Now, Imma not push back slightly, but here's why I go back and forth with Shamea, because I get what is happening to her, but until she acknowledges that she's now on the end of what she participated in last season with Drew, I can't see it all the way for you. She's literally sitting at the table in Scotland saying, "You don't need to do that. You don't need to speak for her. See, this is what I'm talking about." But you have admitted on more than one occasion, in more than one interview, that you took up Portia's beef with Drew, but how she phrases it as, "I want y'all to see how good of a friend I am. So I took on my friend's beef because that's how good of a friend I am." But you're also admitting to being a part of on the gang up of Drew last season because it was Porsha, Shamea, Kelly, who didn't know her, Phaedra, who came in the last minute. You didn't take issue with sitting down in your dressing room. Drew, did you sleep with Dennis? Drew, were you out to dinner with Dennis? And then you went and met up with Ralph because you did a podcast with him before. So until you can say, I would rather Shamea say, you know what? Drew, let me go back. I think the reason that Drew has been able to move on with Porsha outside of the Go Naked, yes, Porsha came at her last season, but at the reunion, whether we believe it or not, they stood up, they hugged, and we have not seen Porsha dog Drew's name in an interview since. What we saw with Shamea was a YouTube apology with the Save African Children music behind her, saying, "If I offended you ladies, I am sorry." And then minutes later in that same YouTube, shade Drew and say, "The purse is fake and I can keep going," and then continue to dog Drew in interviews. So if I was Drew, I'm gonna have smoke for you every time, not even on behalf of, because you apologized again, then you did it again. And then you dragged me in interviews. So until I would rather Shamea say, you know what, Drew, I gotta be real. I'm sorry because I was a part of a gang up on you last year. And now I know how I feel and I don't like it. So I apologize to you, Drew, but I need y'all to stop. You gonna have to show some accountability for being a part of what is now happening to you.
You know what? That's probably the first time somebody has really articulated the Drew and Shamea of it all to me, because I think that's the one I really didn't quite understand. But I needed to be reminded that Shamea was actually the very first and original Go Nakeds. Shamea was
Yes.
the first Porsha in the Go Nakeds. She
Yes.
first backup singer.
And now that you're out of the group, Effie White, you upset. Effie,
Oh,
we all got pain. So
you
like
better.
and the thing is, we're not even taking it from an aspect of what we watched last season. Shamea has said over and over and over. She said in Carlos King's interview, and I don't normally curse. She said, "I was on Drew's ass for Porsha." She said it. And yet you're sitting here crying saying, she says to Drew and Angela, "Drew, you always have Angela's back." And I'm looking at her going, and that's my thing with Shamea. You can't even acknowledge that you participated in this very thing. And that's why just when I start to feel for you, I'm like, nah, because you've yet to truly acknowledge it and then stand by that.
I think I hope now I don't know that Shamea will ever watch this, right? But but
Hi,
I
Shamea, if you do, you're gorgeous.
no, I think you articulated it in a way that she could receive. Because I see comments and I'm like, and people would say, "Well, she did it to Drew last year," and I'm like, "What?" But I need to remind her. She did set this up, and she has said that she went to bat. But you know what? With the way I was taking it, and it's probably the way she planned for it to come across, was I was just being a good friend. That's how good of a friend I was, because there are two separate. There's two situations going on here. There is the Portia and there's the Shamea of it all, and then there's
Yes.
the Shamea and there's everybody else that she has beef with. So
Yep.
I would look at the situation of her trying to be a good friend to Portia, and I'm just applying it to that situation. And that's probably the way she is either thinking about it on her own, like, "Well, I've been a good friend to Portia," but not realizing that, "Hey, girl, you just ushered in a wave of people to do the same thing to you that you were doing to them last year." I got
Yes, because they're
you are
they're just
100.
being good friends. They're just
You are
being good friends too. Kelly said it in her confessional. "They're calling me a lack dog. It's being a good friend." All right, then don't have a problem when Drew and Angela do it for each other. Don't have a problem when they do it with Porsha. I'm just saying, if that's what being a good friend is.
mm. Dang.
The Angela and Porsha of it all is weird to me, like, "Girl, this lady said she would F your husband, but you man and Shamea." That one is weird to me, but the Drew and Shamea versus Drew and Porsha is not because it like, we all know, I feel like as Porsha kinda created that with Drew last year, I feel like that, but like I said, they've moved on. We have not seen Porsha dog Drew in interviews, but we've steadily seen Shamea dog before, like, I don't understand how she don't see herself when she did that apology video. Minutes later, you shading Drew about a purse that Drew had already proved was authentic, that Judith Lieber chimed in herself and said was authentic. You just couldn't leave it alone. So to me, I'm like, Shamea, that's a, I'm gonna need a little. That's why I say you can't be victim and villain at the same time.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, 2 things can be happening at once. I
Yes,
mean, you can not understand what Angela's doing, and Angela could be is Angela a liar?
this is. I'm like, now Angela with her messages, I feel either gaslit or her trying to confuse us because her posts that she's made lately bring no clarity.
I feel like she's trying to tell us that there's more to this story, but in the interim, girl, you look like you're lying.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
and because I'm over it,
Here.
I don't want any more of this.
Yes, yes. Because
Oh.
I don't like how she tried to, like, to me, again, it's like a word game thing, like, "You're so smart, so I'm gonna call Shamea a liar for saying that the lady Ashley said I slept with her husband, but I was the one that said it." Gotcha, that is not a gotcha. Shamea was in the moment getting text messages and you saying, "I spoke with George, you spoke with Ashley," and then saying like, yes, even though Angela didn't say Ashley said it. So that's why I'm like, you're kinda trying to trap her too, like, and if I have to think that hard about if what you say is true, I don't want it.
And I feel like Shamea doesn't do a good job of defending herself
Yeah.
because I feel like she gets caught up in Angela's reads, and there's no need to read you because I have the truth right here. So when you stop talking, I'm gonna give everybody the truth about what it is that you said. So you can call me all types of names, but at the end of the day, it is not gonna change the fact that your story is not true. And if you
Yes.
me, I don't this is the thing I don't like, and people say this a lot, that housewives will look up information on each other, you know, and a lot of people do this. I readily acknowledge that I know that this happens, and I
Mhm.
think about this before.
Yeah.
But do I like it? No.
Mm-mm.
Now let's go back because people have referenced this. "Oh, well, you know, it is it one thing to call someone and say, 'Well, what is this person like?'" I think that's one thing, right? If you got somebody new on the show, current cast members might wanna know a little bit of details about how I should maneuver with this person.
Yeah.
But what Angela was doing was, "I'm gonna go and get some information about you so that I can use it against you, and I'm gonna make inferences." But you know what the thing that boggles my mind about the Angela situation is? More than anything, girl, you've ruined your reputation with your neighbors.
On. Yes. Because did you notice the way she tried to throw in there at the end that her youngest and we'll be over for the play date still?
You weren't.
Girl, right. Because I don't trust you now. I don't
No, and
trust you.
in my mind, nobody in the neighborhood should trust you.
Yeah. And you well, you may have joked about not being able to go to a HOA meeting, but baby, they're probably gonna have a meeting about you.
I would. The sign on the
Yeah.
door, "Can't come."
Yeah, like, that is like, now I gotta feel like every time you talk to me is for your job, for the housewives, like, you're a federal agent. Like, I no, absolutely, that is such a good point, I didn't think about especially if y'all kids are playing together, if y'all had a relationship,
I just think you
that's
gotta think about
wild.
certain things, like, it's something
Yeah,
be, like, sacred and off limit, like, I I can mess around with y'all girls, but the thing I'm not gonna mess around with is the place where if I get fired, I still gotta live with these people.
yes. Yes, I did not think about that. And what I liked about Ashley, George's wife, is how she said on the phone with Angela, "You asked me for some information about Shamea. I told you I didn't have any." I love how she said it. And we know that, like you said, asking around, "How is this person?" Or even if, let's say with the k.michelle of it all, or somebody else that was in the public eye before, there may be a certain perception. So you call somebody that knows them and say, "Well, are they like that? Like, how are they? What's been your experience?" Is one thing. You are going around trying to find negative information
I don't
about
like
her
I don't like it.
to
And
expose her.
and now we know that if you don't find information, you'll make it up. I That to me is even worse.
Yeah.
So, um, okay, we talked about Ange. I wanna know what you thought about the K Michelle and Shamea fallout. When
Oof.
K Michelle says, "A friend to everyone is a friend to no one," how do you receive this, and are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. Okay, this is might be a reach, but when you talked about Porsha basically being the middle, right? K Michelle has been online talking about she loves Porsha. She wants to fix things with her, right? Porsha on Carlos King's interview said, "I feel like chose the wrong side." Like Kay came in basically trying to choose a side. And I said, it's interesting now that Kay has unfollowed Shamea. She wants to fix things with Porsha. And not saying that Porsha has anything to do with this, but on every single show, all of these ladies know there is a HBIC on the show. And I think it's interesting for A to say in this latest episode, "I know you have a good heart and I know you don't mean to hurt me." Now, I know that people have said Kay doesn't lie. Hmm. I mean, I believe Lil' Kim when Lil' Kim said, "I did not ask that child to be my daughter, my kid's godmom." So I said, "Kay out here just lying." She said that Shamea's mama had her boobs pressed to her chest and we was out till this time in the morning. Hey, people may say, that's not important. It is because it was proved that it wasn't true. We saw the mama and she had a blazer on and they was home by what, like 11 or 12. However, with the Shamea and Kay of it all, and Kay saying, I got what Shamea was saying when she said, "Listen, you know they're my friends, so when you bring them up to me, I'm
That was
gonna
a
say something."
right there to me, the way she phrased that.
The way she phrased it, and I said, I could see, because again, with Kay, I feel like Kay receives something and then interprets it the way she interprets it through the lens of her relationships with women in the past. So, her saying that, I could see her saying, "If you have friends that we both know don't mess with me. And when we get together, I already know you're gonna hang out with them after, but I say, 'Where are you going?' 'I wanna go.'" That could kinda piss you off because it's like, "Girl, why are you even saying this? Like, you know I'm not gonna like, why are you even," so now I'm forced to say, "You know I can't bring you," like, you already know this, but now you're placing yourself in the victim role so you can cry on your way home and say, "Shamea hurt me." Because I asked about going to hang out with people that I know don't like me. But then when Kay said back to Shamea, "You've mentioned it without me having said anything," I didn't know who to believe.
Yeah. Yeah. That I think it's hard. Oh God. I feel like it's probably a combination of both.
Yeah. "Where you going? To hang out with them?" "Girl, can I go?" "Girl, you know I can't take you. They don't like you, and you know that."
The idea that a friend to everyone is a friend to no one. How do you feel about that?
I knew somebody like that who wanted to be a part of every single group. And I would first of all, I was like, "Girl, I don't even know how you have the energy." Because even with my own friends, I'm glad that my friends are friends with each other because I don't always wanna go. Sometimes I don't feel like it, and so they have each other. I would always say, something about that is not like, you wanna be in every single circle. But then I think about myself. But see, I use the word friend differently. So I like to get along with everyone when I'm in a space with everyone is there, meaning have fun. So I'm gonna have fun with this one. I don't want to have any tension. I don't care about beefs. I just want to have a good time. So the friend to everyone is a friend to no one. I can kind of see that because that means you'll never take a side. Will you take a stance if one of our friends wrongs me? Will you take a stance, or are you always just going to be Switzerland? Are you always going to be neutral? And are you running information back? Or is it getting out inadvertently? If you're my good friend, you're her good friend, you're my enemy's good friend. I don't know that I feel comfortable talking to you when you're good friends with my enemy also. So, but then we are mature adults. So I know I've had different people that didn't like each other. We ain't talking about them when we together, and we ain't talking about them when we together. And if they say something slick, I'll be like, hey, now look. I even had to learn that I couldn't even say, you may be right about that one little thing, but we ain't gonna do that. Nope. We not talking about them at all. So it has to be exhausting for Shamea.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I am torn about this one because I understand the premise,
Yes.
but I think that in practice, in this situation, if we apply it to Shamia and K.Michelle, for me, like Shamia, there's no question here. You go with the rivers and the lakes that you're used to because those are the people that have been with you. You've been on vacation with them. K. Michelle is a new friend and you're still exploring with her. And what I will note is that when K. Michelle had an off camera issue with something that Shamia did, the first thing that K. Michelle did was go tell Pinky, not Shamia.
Come on. Come on.
That to me is a red flag. So now Kenny, the gang are probably like, see, girl, we told you about her.
Come on. Come on. That's because she said, I want Shamea to hear it from me.
Then you should have
When?
been the one to tell her. What you telling Pinky for?
So Pinky can be like, I sensed something. Girl, you didn't sense
That's
and everybody knew Pinky ain't
so
sense.
crazy because everybody knew what it was except Shamia. Like that was so Pinky. I like Pinky on the show. I really do.
Yeah,
I will
me
say
too.
what I don't like though.
I saw some of it. And are you referencing the clip about why she went on?
About how she's not a housewife. She's the first businesswoman to ever do Housewives in the history of Housewives. Out of all the hundreds of housewives that have been on Housewives, she's the business. I was just like, Pinky,
Can I raise my hand and say, even though she get on my nerves, hi, Vicky Gunvalson, Kodo Insurance, who started Housewives, building businesses, bringing on other women to build their businesses.
that to me was like wild. I was like, girl, like what? I know that she's all about her business and I get it. You know, this is a defining moment for her in her life. But sometimes I feel like when I'm watching Pinky, it's nothing but business. And I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel like I'm getting to know an actual person, what's underneath all of these layers of business, personnel, paperwork,
And what's the push? I want to know the backstory. Is it because you came out of Baltimore, didn't have anything, watched your mom sacrifice, watched your grandmom, watched other Black women? You moved to Atlanta and saw Black women doing things and were like, oh my gosh, so y'all, this is why I'm always business, 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 because I'm afraid if I sit down, I'm going to fail. Like, I want to know Pinky because I like her as well. But girl, you do realize none of the women on your cast are housewives technically. You're not the only one. Angela works. Shamea, the one that out of all of them don't have to work, wants to work. Like, listen, I'll be creating my content. No, I would be, Gerald, I need you to buy me a talk show.
I wouldn't even, yeah, I'll be on a vacation. So I'll be like Toya playing tennis. I'm not
You
doing
know
that.
what? And then Tori then went and partnered and bought a tennis team with people.
See, that's the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay. Toya is the living, breathing embodiment, technically, of a housewife in
Yes.
this age, right? Somebody
Yes.
who is because it's not what I think people have this thought about what a housewife is, right? but I think it's somebody who is a somebody who's taking care of the home, but also has the leisure and the luxury in this context to do as she pleases.
Yep. And y'all check me because I'm pretty sure it wasn't a partnership. I believe her and other people came because I was just on her Instagram yesterday or the day before. She randomly came in
Saw
on my
something.
FYP. I said, "What's she up to?" And
Yeah.
then I was like, "Okay." So, yeah, you're right. So it just Pinky in that interview was giving off, "I filed bankruptcy, but I'm richer than you, Cam." Okay, all right, okay. You're the queen of the world. We get it. And one thing about Pinky, she also doesn't like I feel like she's one of those women that doesn't like to make a mistake. It was something small. She talked about her and her husband's business. I forget the question that Cam asked her, and she used the word competition. And then when she described what her and her husband have, it wasn't competition. It was more like, okay, I push you, you push me. So then Cam used the word competition and she said camaraderie. I was just using I was just using what you used. So did you mean to say? But I
And
was like, I get it.
the clip is out there where she says, when he says, "Are you in something?" There's something that and she says it. She literally says
Competition. Yeah.
competition. And I'm like,
Was that
now
a
at this
40 and
point,
slip?
so I've heard another content creator say that they were in competition with each other earlier on. I can't remember who it was. And I was like, because I really didn't look too deep into their relationship when I like those first couple of episodes, because everything was bankruptcy, bankruptcy, bankruptcy. I felt like she was selling bankruptcy. Like I needed to go out and get one myself. Like, you make bankruptcy look sexy. I mean, where do we sign up? You know, like, go down to Walmart and get you a bankruptcy. I mean, that's the way she came across with it. Like everybody gets one.
Wait, oh
Girl,
my god.
out today. I'm telling you, it'll save your life. Okay,
Oh
follow
my
me.
god.
I know everything.
Yes, that is so good. If she watches it, somebody clip this and send this to her. She will write a book, Bankruptcy is Sexy. And then she'll flip it on how it's sexy because when you're feeling good financially, when you're feeling good mentally, you can then operate in your finances. When it becomes too overwhelming, you file for that chapter 7 and you are sexy because you have a clear mind. You can start another clip this and send this to her. Make sure Richie gets proceeds because he came up with bankruptcy is sexy. It's gonna be a red book in gold letters because that's Pinky style. Bankruptcy is sexy. And bankruptcy is gonna be in like Times Roman numeral, and then sexy is gonna be in like that scribble. Telling you. I'm telling you,
Well, Epton
I can
Phonics.
see it.
Shoot, all of y'all, go out there and
If I
get you.
walk by and see that book in the Walmart just like that, I'm tearing stuff up and I'm taking this hour and some change flight to Atlanta and knocking on a slutty vegan's door if it's open.
Girl, just give me a byline or something, and the thank you notes. Okay, that's all I really want. All right, because you done made bankruptcy sexy to all of us.
That
Uh,
Richie, that was so good. Going to get you a bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is sexy.
Didn't you feel? I felt like that watching the show. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm tired of paying bills. Um,
1000%.
um, I wanted to go down the list. What do you what do you feel about this reunion setup and seating? What do you feel like it means for some of the other girls? Like the people that I going into this season that I did think were in danger were Kelly and Drew. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like
Yeah,
I really felt
same.
like based on the way the season started and based on the level of story that we get from them, although I feel like Kelly's story time has gone up, I kind of feel like Drew's story time has gone down. And I wonder what that means in terms of like going into the reunion as well as what do you think we see moving forward? Like, what do you expect to see? I guess kind of coming into these next couple of episodes.
As far for the reunion, the first one and the seating, clearly K.Michelle being first seat was Bravo's message that she will be back. Totally fine. I say give her another season. But if we get another season of confessionals that I could watch all day versus her being a plant on screen in scene, I don't want it. So I hope that she is comfortable enough to come in and react real to situations. get
Yeah.
involved in
And
the in real time, not in your confessional or on Twitter. I need it to be in real time because she had already exhausted me last summer before the season because every week she was tweeting about bimbos and things, right? So
I know, and
I
it's so hard for me because I don't have the Twitter, K.michelle, so please stop doing that.
tell her to go on over to Threads. If she do it on Instagram, then it'll go right to Threads.
Please.
So I feel like that's what that was for. Um, Maybe Drew might wanna thank K.Michelle because I feel like we did get some moments out of Drew that wouldn't have came about, like, Drew when Shamea, Drew, and K.Michelle were at that dinner, I was firmly on Drew's side, and I'll tell you why. K.Michelle told everybody she had an issue with Drew but Drew, and then the black of it all. So when she says, um, I think when K.Michelle she was saying basically saying, like, "You told everybody but me, use your words." Oh, like, the way Drew was kinda coming back with her, I was like and had Kay get up and leaving. Now people are saying, "Oh, Kay got up because she didn't wanna explode on her." I personally don't believe that. I believe Kay got up because she had no real concrete evidence of a plot, or if she did, she didn't wanna say it for whatever reason, and then I liked how Drew shifted to Shamea and says, "Look, Shamea saying, "You brought up the Black and K.Michelle thing first when we all saw K.Michelle." K.Michelle tried to come at Drew by saying, "Psst, Black, he's been in my DMs, but it twisted on you. So you said it first to kinda make Drew feel stupid, but now you wanna twist it and say, Drew's doing it and I'm married.' Nah, you brought it up first." So then when Shamea tried to make it seem like Drew did it, Drew was like, "Now you being a lapdog again." I said, "Come on, Drew, say it to her face." So Drew should thank Kay for making Drew use her voice to say, "I don't know you. I don't know you." Like, so you there was some bit of story, Drew. Drew was drawn in. I do think next season, maybe we will get more out of Drew about the divorce. Maybe she'll be able to speak about them living in the home if she eventually moves out, because I'm wondering if she wasn't allowed to talk about it, and that's why we didn't really get anything, but, the powerful scene to me that we got at the end of last week's episode where they were, bonding. So I like Drew. There's something about Drew. I want Drew to win. I wanna keep watching her. Also, she gives desperate housewives, meaning Drew is a parody of what she thinks a housewife should be. There's never really anything authentic about Drew. I can be honest and say that, me liking her. So Drew is parodying what she thinks a housewife should be with the assistants and the chefs and all these people are on my team, when we know you're not paying them to be on a team. I could say the woman at the mat counter is on my team because she's the one I always use when I go get my makeup done. I could say the lady from Subway, I have a personal chef. The lady from Subway is on my team because she's the one that makes my sandwich. Like, she's the one I call to make my sandwiches. So that's what I mean. Drew, to me, Drew can be deceptive and inauthentic, but I feel like that's also always been Drew. And I take into consideration she was raised by a pastor. So she probably wasn't allowed to be her true authentic self because everything is a sin. That's not of God. That's not of God. So she had to build this facade of even the woman thing. Drew told us she ain't never kissed a woman. She told us that season, I think, when Latoya was there. Now you talking about you and your husband had threesomes. Hey, maybe her and the lady didn't kiss. But I said, Drew, did you forget you said that? Because I was watching Portia's face the entire time she said that.
So was I because, there was some if I remember correctly, during the bolo of it all, there was something that
Yeah.
allegedly occurred between her and Latoya. Am I correct? Am I
They
remembering?
kissed.
Boom. That was a part of the accusation or allegation, I should say, at the time.
Allegation, yes. And so so I've never kissed a woman. Then I tried to give her the benefit of doubt. Child, maybe the threesome was after that. I don't know. But there's something deceptive about Drew, but I don't know if she knows that she's being deceptive. I believe she's acting. And I just want Drew to be like, the moment that we got from her to me was the rawest moment that we've seen. Even the whole him going to Tampa. This was the rawest moment I feel like that we have seen from Drew. And what I saw was I'm scared because I don't know what's gonna happen.
I said the same thing, to be honest with you, like, that to me was probably her moment, and it's a shame because it was really Kelly's moment, and so I just hate that her scene and her biggest moment was baked into a round
Yeah.
table of emotion because but it's also telling, right, that this was the only time that you felt like you could really give us that. So
Mm.
that's also very interesting as well, even in scenes where you're by yourself. And I do agree with you. I find that I feel like Drew is always interpreting a housewife and versus just showing up as whoever she is, right? And I do agree with you about the K.Michelle of it all. If K.Michelle can sit down with Porsha and with Phaedra individually and have those separate conversations about it, in which somebody has told you that there was a monster under the bed, there's something in the closet coming out to get you. It is one of those people dressed up in a Friday the 13th mask. Girl, you should be able to have the same conversation with Drew in that moment because it was a small group. It was just her, Shami.
Yes.
And that would have been the perfect moment to say, listen, is this what you're trying to do? Because this is what I was told. Yes or
Yes.
no.
I
If
just
Kay left that conversation like, I don't believe her, it at least would have put a pin in, okay, Drew has answered the question. You can either choose to move on and listen, a lot of housewives do this. They'll accept the apology or they accept the truth or whatever they heard. And in the back of their mind, they still don't believe that person. I
Yep.
could take that.
Yeah.
I could take that, but I cannot take you never addressing something and now you making us go through this whole marathon, this entire season, and it doesn't get resolved until episode 16.
And I also feel like we probably figure out we discussed why she may have moved on with Portia. You know why she moved on with Phaedra. Think about in the season, when did she decide Phaedra wasn't that bad of a person? I was walking through the airport with Phaedra and all these white women love Phaedra. The white women love Phaedra. Then all of a sudden, Phaedra's not that bad. I said, hmm, because you were just told this person was part of a plot to get you. But you said I was able to move on with Phaedra because Phaedra knew I was serious when they went to that you think Pha so which are you saying you thought Phaedra was maybe, like, a little bit scared? Phaedra? Phaedra who could li not the Godfather. Jesus could be standing behind Phaedra saying Phaedra's lying, and Phaedra's still not gonna sweat. You think that Phaedra? So I said, "Oh, okay, country album. She also wants white acceptance. Okay, boom. Alright." That's just my thoughts.
That's a good observation because she did say it.
Was like, "Oh, okay." So if she found out, which makes me curious, if they were walking through an airport and tons of white folks ran up to Drew, would it have been the same thing? I'm just curious.
I
I just
don't
thought and it could
same level of respect for Drew though.
that boom, and there's oh, yeah, and then I wonder where does the lack of respect come from? Is it because Drew is low-hanging fruit? And the thing is, all these things that people say about Drew could very well be true, but if it's never been personally done to you, why is there an issue?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think I kind of agree with you. I feel like on the one end, Shamea is low hanging fruit for some people,
Yes.
and I
Yeah,
think on
I
the other
agree.
end, Drew is probably the low hanging fruit on the other end.
Yes, and it's like, I don't want both of y'all to drop off the tree. Like, I would like to see I have found I'm trying to make sure that I'm fair, and if I'm being biased, to at least say, "Y'all, I'm being a little bit biased." But, like, I'm trying to make sure that I observe this through the lens of authenticity from what I see. Well, yeah, I do like this person, but they did X, Y, and Z, you know? So I'm trying to I will say that there is a part of me that's still well, I guess I was always indifferent to Shamea. I thought she was fun, I thought she was pretty, I liked her and Portia's dynamic on the show, but I was never really, like, necessarily drawn to her. But I want to get to know her, and I feel like this is her 2nd season, and we're still talking even though other people are bringing it up, she's still tied to Porsha. I want to get to know her.
Mm. I think that, like you, I never had an opinion about Shamea in earlier seasons, but I do think that I have a thing for the underdog. And
Yeah.
so that probably is that also leads a lot of what my lens of viewing the show, because I hate when I feel like I see everybody is like now, I don't even ain't nothing even in particular drawing me to her,
I know,
okay?
yes.
No, it's
Yes.
like, I just don't like when I see that on these shows because I feel like it happens so frequently, and I'm like,
Yep.
I like a show like Salt Lake City, and I'm gonna reference it just for the simple fact that I feel like it'll be chaos amongst everybody, and that's what I prefer. Like, it's not just one person, right? That everybody and
Yes.
I don't know, but the merit of it all in that plane. But
Right, but they will drag each other, they will drag Mary, they will drag Meredith, they will drag Lisa. In the same scene, everybody's getting a drag, like
and so I feel like because of that, when I look at a show and they just take this one person,
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Oh god, I ain't got no choice but to." I feel like somebody got to say something. Like, so
yeah,
I feel like I'm in that space with Shamea, even though I mean, she's not like eh, it wasn't like I came into the last season like, "Oh, yes." I did like her when she
mhm,
came in. I thought she was gonna be a breath of fresh air.
yes,
But I think that I saw it early, like, "Girl, you are suffering from the friend syndrome." Like, you are having a hard time separating being a housewife from being a friend of. You're
yes,
still acting in the way that a friend of does. That has been put you into trouble now, okay?
yes. I agree. I do wonder if Portia hadn't come back, but Candy did, and Shamea came on as a friend, what that would I mean, as a full-time, what
Alright,
that
so
would have looked like.
it would have been a completely different situation, and I think that from my understanding, because if Candy had not quit, it was supposed to be Candy that was back with Portia and Shamea. Because
Oh,
from my understanding, I think that they were looking for all like these married couples, right?
yes.
Andy and Tosh, Shamea and Gerald, Portia and Simon.
My
And
man.
so it really was, if you had shaped it up that way, think about what the Housewives of Atlanta would look like right now, right?
Right.
So I think that because it was supposed to be like that, I think what happened with Portia and Simon sort of derailed things. Candy not coming back derailed things. And so it
Okay.
set this whole thing off to really there was no other way to go but put Shamea and Portia, I don't wanna say at odds, but kinda
But
like Vanderpump and Kyle.
yes, and I think that's why Drew is back because Candy didn't come back because all this other. Because I don't necessarily think they were gonna bring it's interesting that they weren't gonna bring her back, but she has actually been the subject of quite a few seasons. Isn't that crazy? It's like, what does that speak to for the show for like, what does that mean that Drew has literally been the subject?
It either means that that she's really stronger than we thought, or they have less to work with than we thought.
Yeah, and people aren't really giving it up with their lives like that anymore.
Boom. That I do wonder a part of that, but I do feel like I think that when you look at Shamea, I think when you look at Portia, whether people like either one of them or not, I do feel like they give their lives. I can say the
Yeah,
same for Angela. I feel like Angela, at least she does give her life as much as
agree.
like what she did in this past episode and how she's been sort of acting towards Shamea. And I don't like these random things that wife in the basement, that type things. I don't like that. But hold on, pause. I gotta put a pin in this. Atlanta, I wanna okay, we touched on that. I gotta ask you
Okay,
about one other thing.
okay,
I do not watch this show, okay?
okay.
Don't watch Rhode Island. But,
We discussed that.
okay, like, I just don't do it. But I've seen these posts recently
Mhm.
kind of outing some of the cast members and their alleged disdain for the LGBTQIA community, right?
Mhm.
Does how because that show is so widely received by so many people, does that impact your viewing of the show or your thoughts about them? Or are you more or less able to kind of separate that from it? I'm standing back from the show because I don't watch it.
Mhm.
I'm just I'm seeing sort of the landscape of how people are viewing those types of things right now. And I'm
So,
just wondering, does that mean people will still be watching it when it comes back on?
what I'm watching is to watch people who were very loud and vocal when it was popular to do so about Ramona from New York City. Now and the black boxes and Bravo, a movement, not a moment, and how people were vigilantes for different communities, for minority communities. I'm watching now how they're reacting to this. And I don't I think a lot of it is fake outrage, and I'm able to separate, and Imma tell you why. And I'm not saying it's a good thing, I'm saying it's a black thing. We have to separate pretty much every day, especially work if you when you work in corporate office. So I know that the lady that I'm in the kitchen with, even though I'm not eating a potluck, but we all in here talking, ha ha, kiki, laugh, laugh about Bill and accounting and this person, that person. At the end of the day, I would never think that you would be marching on behalf of somebody that looks like me. So because black people live that way, we watch TV that way, I feel. So when the news came out about a Ramona Singer, the cast of OC, I believe a lot of us, and Imma speak for me, already went into it pretty much knowing who these women are. So I can watch it from that lens because I know who y'all are, and I'm not looking for you to be the moral standard of anything because Imma be quite honest, you don't look like me, and I see where you live, and I see kinda, but I can watch it this way. So now coming down to Rhode Island, I'm still gonna be able to watch it because I felt like that about y'all anyway. None of it is a surprise. I did not think that you would be out there marching for any minority group, whether it be LGBTQ, whether it be Black folks. So this news coming out is just, to me, just another day in Bravo because these are real people, real women. And when you look in the background of these shows with their parties, you're not always seeing other minorities represented. So I personally can still watch it because I don't me watching Atlanta Housewives and forming connections, if you will, I'm saying connections with these people is different than me watching these all white casts. I don't necessarily form heartwarming connections because at the end of the day, again, I'm looking at OC, Ramona, her age, her this, and then that's not saying I'm prejudging them because I do believe that there are good people out there that are not black, that are not minorities. But these particular women, I don't have emotional ties to because I feel at the end of the day, if my life was on the line, I'm not somebody that you're not willing to risk yourself for me. So I can watch TV that way. Boom. Oh, yep, they crazy. She funny. She this. So I'm gonna be able to watch Rhode Island. I am just interested to see. I mean, she's no better than now. Kelly Dodd says the stuff that she was liking. So does that make her no better than Kelly Dodd? Or because what she was liking is stuff that Kelly Dodd has said before. So
I think, yeah, that was part of the reason why I didn't watch the show in the beginning, to be honest
because
with
you
you.
felt it.
I felt just I'm like, not that I have to watch shows where everybody looks like me, otherwise I wouldn't be watching TV at all.
Hello, exactly.
But I would rather spend my time watching the shows where there is at least a few people that look like me, if I can. And so because there's quite a I'll have my hands full with Atlanta. I will have my hands full with the Love and Hip Hop. I'll have my hands full with Married to Medicine and Potomac, and they've spaced them out as such. I'm good. I'm good. I have enough shows in my catalog to watch. So, are any of these things surprising to me? No, not really. I feel like this cast was a little bit too willing to put all like there's this I like reality, but a lot of what they were doing, I just feel like, "Oh, no. No, 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 no. No. This is it ventures too far into the realm of it gives me a low vibrational energy, and I understand that we talk about low vibrational situations when we
Yes.
talk about these shows, but they seem to be willing to go really low. And because of that, my threshold, okay, is here. All right.
Yeah,
I got to keep going. I, mm-mm,
there's nothing left.
there's
I feel
nothing
like what I
for
fear Carlos King talked about Seasons of Potomac, seasons back, and said and I keep using him as a reference 'cause it just stuck with me in terms of watching these shows. He said that Potomac had become about exposing, and that's not what Housewives shouldn't be about. We're just here to expose, and I fear Rhode Island could go down that same path because that's what they're building on right now.
exactly. I
Where are
think
we
that
going from here?
you articulated that better than I said it because I feel like that's what it is. It's a slippery slope, and we saw it happen,
Yes.
with, unfortunately, Kenya Moore.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
once you go here, you have no other choice but to keep going.
Yeah.
And the closer you dig to hell, okay, now everything's on fire. And you have to try to reset, right? Like they did with Potomac. And the thing that I
Yeah.
think about Atlanta is that it has become more about reading people than it has been a bit about like natural conflict, real
Yes.
like issues with each other. And I feel like we don't get to the bottom of things because they're so interested in reading each other. Like I think Porsha said it really well in the last, we can keep going and going and going, and there's no end to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't want the shows to become that either. And I felt like
Mhm.
that's what I was watching, or that's what I was seeing in the clips with Rhode Island. So it really was like I was affirmed with not watching it at that point in time.
I enjoyed it, but there was a point when I felt like things were going too far, and it just I don't know, I just felt like at what point do we acknowledge that this woman is gonna stay with her husband no matter what how many receipts you bring her, you know?
Hmm.
And it's just see, you didn't watch the reunion. I fear the reunion might have had you turn it off in the middle.
No, I saw the clip. I saw the clips. That was all I needed.
So
And
you
that, so
saw how yeah, and I get people were saying, well, they called Joellen a liar, and she wanted to prove that she wasn't a liar. I get that, but to the point where I'm looking up, have you ever bought your wife a Gucci bag? Oh, Rula, you don't have the bag? Because on September 2nd, it was $4,500 paid for this bag, and it was to the mistress. It just was a lot for me. But
yeah.
so I'm hoping they can kind of recoup. I'm hoping that next season is not all about Rula and Brian. But yes, I'll come back and tell you all about Rhode Island.
All right. So listen, Taria is going to be the face of this show for the outro. Taria, tell the people where they can find you.
This is us. This right here. Okay. Y'all can find me Instagram at WeGo, WEIGO podcast. Threads. I love Threads. We Go Podcast. I am on Twitter, but I haven't been over there for a while. I'm sporadic. Same We Go Podcast. I'm on TikTok, We Go Podcast 1, but I've yet to kind of tick or talk since probably like 2 years. And then on YouTube, We Go WEIGO podcast and my actual podcast, What Else is Going On, wherever you find your podcast. Thank y'all for having me, Sky Squad. If we disagree, remember, we're still love, okay? So we can disagree respectfully, okay? I love y'all.
Let them know. Taria, I'm over here nodding my head like the people can see me, but they can't. So Sky Squad, we will catch you in the next video.